That's right. We have a Gamergate television show because it's frickin' 2021. I don't know what other way to signify the total collapse of civilization than giving Brianna Wu, Moonrock's Moonbat, a television show about an event that the entire world has moved on past, except for about 13 blue check marks on Twitter. I don't really know how else to describe the insanity to you, so I'll just give you the full report. That's right. Brianna Wu is set to helm a new television series aimed at showing how the, quote, tactics of Gamergate led to the January 6th event where a bunch of idiots got a little too rowdy, apparently. What a great picture, by the way. Good job bounding into comics. Excellent file photo. Former congressional candidate Brianna Wu is set to helm a new project based on Gamergate, which she audaciously claims will show how the tactics of Gamergate were the same ones that led to certain tragedies. Really? These people have literally not moved on in the absolute slightest, have they? Not even in the slightest bit. Developed by Wu in collaboration with Mind Riot Entertainment, a fledgling production company whose only industry presence appears to be the very important announcement of this project, the Gamergate series will reportedly explore the origins of widespread intimidation campaigns from the perspective of multiple fictional people in the games industry. Well, this is actually pretty good because most of what a lot of these people talked about in terms of Gamergate was absolute fiction. So it would make sense that you would file this under fiction. From executives to journalists and indie developers. According to Deadline, who announced the project in an October 4th exclusive, Wu will co-write the series with co-creator Brad Wilkie of Camel Spiders. I've never heard of it. While Mind Riot Entertainment of Give Me Shelter and Jeremy J. Dodd of One Nation Under Earl is currently attached to produce. Speaking to the trade news outlet, Wu asserted that rather than retread the same old story told in thousands of news outlets such as the New York Times and the Washington Post, plus multiple documentaries like GTFO, her series would focus on new fictional people with the industry reacting to a horrific situation. Look, I welcome this series in the most earnest, honest sense possible. Look, in the last year, we've lost shows like Batwoman to dunk on. We've lost Supergirl. We've lost an enormous amount of programming that was a staple of my dunk content on this channel. So I absolutely look forward to and expect to see, I want to see this. Now, I'm sure it'll be on like Freeform TV or something like that. I don't expect it to be on any major network, but I'm excited. By explaining how they were unable to stop the video games industry from being hijacked by the lunatic fringe. Isn't that funny? I suspect many of us would define the lunatic fringe quite differently. We can show how the tactics of Gamergate were the same ones that led to certain tragedies. Really? Really? In turn, Casey beamed to Deadline about how working with Brianna is a huge score. Yeah, an unemployed failed politician, probably with a failed Kickstarter. That's the other one. I'm sure they were a real hard get for you. I'm sure in between grifting on Twitter and reliving an event that happened 57 million years ago in internet years, I'm sure she could squeeze you in. Between her moon rock theories, I'm sure that she had time for you. Being based in Seattle, one of the country's meccas for gaming, we've been wanting to shed light on the subject matter for a while and are honored that Brianna will be co-writing the series alongside Brad. You know what I think? I think Brianna Wu's probably doing this for free. That's what I think. I think she's probably doing this for free, and that's why they're so complimentary of her. Because there's literally 0% chance that she wasn't just oozing at the chance to work on this. This woman received a few mean tweets 17,746,000 years ago and has not shut up about it since. Literally. And every few months, some new writer over at the Washington Post or something like that retreads the same old story that nobody cares about. I remember the peak insanity of having Anita Sarkeesian show up on Stephen Colbert, which now we know is makes total sense. Over a nothing burger, over some online. Remember when the FBI came out and released that statement and said, yeah, actually really nothing. There was just kind of not a big deal. And nobody wrote about that, did they? Not as exciting as those incel men. Oh, men in their basement that don't want women in their video games. Men that would probably, want nothing more than to meet a woman who also likes the same video games as them. I'm supposed to believe that these same men, the men that I knew, right? A lot of these articles disparaging men in gaming were the same people that I would sit in a local game shop with playing Magic the Gathering on Friday nights. And by the way, I've played Magic the Gathering in, 5 different states and probably 30 different local game stores. And yeah, there weren't a lot of girls that showed up there because not a lot of girls like that game. But whenever one would show up, they were like, people were tripping over themselves to welcome them because a lot of these guys didn't have a lot of social skills. And so they, kind of went into the fantasy world that was Magic. And, they were some of the kindest men I ever met. And so when all these video game broads were like, oh, these guys. Now, I'm not saying people didn't say mean things to them, but I definitely stood by a lot of these guys that took a lot of flack from the media. It was just a new form of bullying that they had already been forced to experience many times in their life. Gamergate is not going to be a feminist melodrama about threats, she explained. It's fiction. It was then too. It's going to take place in the industry, and it's going to be about the efforts of an institution to stop extremist fringe from taking it over and how it fails. Kind of relevant, right? I don't know, ask Blizzard. I heard they removed some more jokes. Sexism defeated. Am I right, guys? Am I right? It's overwhelmingly fictional characters. I'm sure that... Oh, by the way, there is 0% chance Brianna Wu does not self-insert. Right? Smash like now if you agree. By the way, if you're also watching and you aren't yet subscribed, please do consider clicking that red subscribe button down below the video. I would greatly appreciate the support. I know it's kind of a pain, but I do greatly appreciate it. It's overwhelmingly fictional. Some public figures get mentioned, but the characters are journalists, CEOs, developers, and law enforcement, because they were a big part of it. Because, excuse me, the only way to tell the truth about what happened is to make it fiction. She then asserted that one of my rules in writing is no stereotypes, and subsequently promised we're not going to treat gamers or the whole industry with disrespect. Yes, they are. In fact, it's going to celebrate what I love, but also note how powerless we all feel with an increasingly fringe in the fan base. What? This is... What? If they're a fringe, why are you worried about them? They hold no power. What I'm worried about is people like Brianna Wu and Anita Sarkeesian, who could literally bully corporations into giving them money and then going in and ruining their games, saying that, oh, this joke is just over the line. It's really gonna make some people upset online. We should probably remove that. To be honest, I feel a lot of pressure co-writing this. It's my goal to represent what women in our field face, but with nuance and compassion. She wrote in conclusion to her thoughts, "You can trust me to tell a more true story about game development than has been told before," based on all of her experience, right? Based on all of her experience. I mean, it is absolutely hilarious to me that she finally grifted this into existence. I mean, congratulations. I couldn't be happier for her, because it's going to be great for all of us in reality to dunk on. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.